everyone. Welcome to another engaging session of Deep Talk 3.0. Today, we explore a thought-provoking and highly relevant topic: can disaster be prevented or only managed? Our speaker, Devika M.V., will guide us through an insightful discussion on the nature of disasters and the extent of which human intervention can reduce or control their impacts. The session will examine the difference between disaster prevention and disaster management, and the role of human activities in increasing or reducing risks, and how preparedness, mitigation, and policy planning shape disaster outcomes. The discussion will also highlight real-world approaches used globally to minimize disaster losses and build a resilient communities. I welcome David.
Thank you, Nandana, for that introduction. So, as we all know, that disasters are increasing worldwide due to climate change, rapid urbanization, and also population growth. So, this raises an important question whether these disasters are unavoidable events or they can be managed by human intervention. And that's where can disasters be prevented or only managed come to its limelight. Coming to the introduction, we all know that disasters are serious disruptions that cause widespread human, economic, or environmental losses beyond a community's capacity to cope the damages using its own resources. And disasters can be further divided into two: natural disasters as well as human or man-made disasters. Natural disaster basically covers floods, earthquakes, cyclones, volcanic eruptions, and landslides, while human-induced disasters includes industrial accidents, fires, and infrastructure failures. While hazards are natural processes, and disaster occur when these hazards interact with the vulnerable population. Therefore, the key issue is whether the disasters themselves can be prevented or whether only their consequences can be controlled. So, what is disaster prevention? So, disaster prevention, as the word suggests, it refers to the measures taken to completely avoid or to stop a disaster from occurring. And various examples are also included in the slide, which includes restricting the construction in flood-prone areas through land use planning, and enforcing earthquake-resistant building codes, building dams and flood barriers, and protecting forests to prevent soil erosion and landslides. So the main objective of prevention is risk elimination. However, prevention depends heavily on scientific knowledge, governance, and long-term planning. So what is disaster management? Disaster management basically refers to organized efforts to prepare, respond, and recover from a disaster. So this happens post-disaster scenario. And it consists of four main phases. As we all know: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Mitigation is reducing the potential risk. Preparedness, planning and training before the disaster happens. And response, emergency actions during disasters. And recovery is about rebuilding and restoring the normal life. So unlike prevention, disaster management accepts that some hazards cannot be avoided and focuses on minimizing losses and ensuring quick recovery from the disasters. Can these disasters be prevented? Some disasters can indeed be partially prevented, especially those caused by human interventions and intensified by human activities. For example, industrial accidents can be avoided through strict safety regulations, and urban flooding can be reduced through effective drainage systems. Landslide can be minimized through stop stabilization and as well as vegetation cover. However, natural phenomena such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or cyclones cannot be stopped because as they are part of the Earth's natural processes. Therefore, prevention is possible mainly in reducing the vulnerability rather than eliminating the hazards. So, while complete prevention is impossible, there are several reasons for this aspect. Natural forces like tectonic movements in the atmospheric system cannot be controlled by humans. Climate change increases unpredictably, and extreme weather events also take place. Population pressure forces people to live in high-risk areas such as coasts and hillsides. Economic and technological limitations prevent complete protection. So disasters cannot always be avoided, but their impact can be significantly reduced. So why disaster management is effective and what's their importance? When it comes to importance of the disaster management helps to provide early warnings and evacuation plans. It ensures coordination among government agencies, deliver relief and medical assistance quickly, support long-term recovery and rehabilitation. For example, we can take an instance where improved early warning systems significantly reduce the cyclone-related death in many regions. So this shows that while hazards remain unavoidable, preparedness makes society safer. And now we come to the core portion of our presentation, the difference between prevention and management. So prevention basically focuses on long-term planning and infrastructure to avoid risk, whereas management focuses on handling emergencies and recovery. And prevention and management are both complementary approaches. So prevention aims to reduce the exposure, while management reduces the consequences of the disaster. So in reality, effective disaster risk reduction requires a combination of both these strategies, both the prevention as well as the management. So real world examples can be cited as cyclone forecasting and evacuation system reduce casualties even then storms cannot be prevented. So a real life event happened on this scenarios in the Bangladesh cyclone preparatory program occurred in 1973. They through the weather forecasting, they regulated the early warning system and also prepared a volunteering whereby they gave messages to at the doorstep, and they constructed thousands of shelters for the disaster as the part of a disaster preparedness, and also shifted mass evacuation even before the storm hit the place. And next one is flood zoning. Flood zoning regulation limit construction in high risk areas. So a real life example can be cited in Netherlands at the Rhine River Delta. So here they undergo through a project. Project name was Room for the River, and this project had a period of 2006 to 2015. The problem was that the Rhine River had frequent flooding, and which threatened the cities and also the farmland. So outcome of the project was they were able to reduce the flood risk and improve the environmental sustainability and prevent large-scale flooding disasters. And the next one is community preparations. So through local planning and drills and public awareness, we can reduce the effect of the disasters. And example of this can be cited as a Bangladesh cyclone attack, as they have gone through a very well community awareness program. And also in Japan is prone to many disasters, and the people over there are trained well to manage the risk and how to respond to the disasters. And towards the conclusion, disasters themselves cannot always be prevented, but because many originate from natural processes, and these natural processes cannot be prevented. However, disaster risk and impacts can be minimized through prevention measures and effective management system. And the focus of modern disaster management is shifting from reaction to preparedness and resilience. So disasters may be natural, but their consequences are largely shaped by human interventions and decisions, and also the preparedness levels.
Thank you, Devika. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now. We welcome your queries on disaster risk reduction, prevention strategies, preparedness measures, mitigation practices, and community participation, and the evolving role of disaster management in addressing natural and human-induced hazards.
If disasters cannot be prevented completely, why do governments invest heavily in prevention measures?
Government invests in prevention because it can significantly reduce the disaster risk and long-term losses after happening the disaster. So prevention measures such as land use planning, building regulation, and public awareness, environmental protection can lower the vulnerability before a hazard occurs. So, the study shows that investing in prevention is more cost effective than spending on the losses and for the recovery and relief after a disaster. And that's why disaster government invests heavily in prevention.
So what is the most important phase of disaster management?
Even though all the four phases are considered to be important in managing a disaster, the first one, that is preparedness, is considered to be the crucial part in a disaster management. As proper training, early warning systems, evacuation planning, and public awareness can reduce the impact of the disaster and prepares the people to face the disaster in a more resilient way. So, preparedness is considered to be the crucial part of the disaster management.
Can technology in this solve?
Technology alone cannot solve the disasters in future. Through regulations ensured by the governance, and through human factors like awareness, public interventions, and along with the technology, disasters can be managed. Cannot be prevented, but it can be managed in a brilliant way.
Thank you, Devika, for that insightful presentation on can disaster be prevented or only managed. The session provided a clear understanding of the limitations and possibilities of disaster prevention while emphasizing the importance of effective management, preparedness, and resilience building strategies. With DTalk 3.0, we continue to engage with the meaningful sessions that enhance our awareness of disaster risk reduction and sustainable development. Wishing everyone a pleasant evening, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session.